All right, so let me go back. We are on 10b now, and this is the domain in the real world. You have done domain before, so hopefully you remember this, or you can maybe refer back to your notes even if you still have those. If not, no big deal. Just remember the domain is your x values, range is your y values. That might help out. So, domain is inputs, x values, or domain. Those are all three interchangeable. So, those would be, if you're looking at coordinates, those would be the first number. 2, 1, 3, and -5. If you're looking at a table, that would be all the values in the first column. And if you're looking at a graph, that would be all the places where the points fall on the x-axis. So if you look up, see how each one of these is tied to a point, the x value of a point. Okay, the outputs, the y values, or the range, okay, is the second number in the coordinates, the second column in a table, or it's the vertical axis. And again, if you look, say, oh, I can look at my vertical axis, and each one of these circled places on the graph, there's a corresponding point to the left or right of it. All right, so let's see if you remember this question. So Michie Stadium at West Point is capable of seating 38,000 people. For each game, the amount of money, or R, that the Army's Black Knights bring in as revenue is a function of the number of people, P, in attendance. So each ticket costs $45. Find the domain and range. So, all right, domain, pretty easy. We're talking about the input, or the number of people that show up, because it's the number of people that show up are not dependent on the tickets sold or the price, the revenue. Okay, the revenue depends on how many people show up. So the number of people are the domain. So you could have anywhere from 0 people show up. The seating capacity is 38,000. So P could be between 0 and 38,000, and it could be greater than or equal to 0, or less than or equal to 38,000. To find the range, you just take those numbers and multiply them by 45, because if 38,000 people show up, 38,000 times $45, because that's the range. So 0 times 45, no one shows up, you make no money. R is the revenue, the amount of money you make. And 38,000 times 45 is 1,710,000. And yeah, so it's just asking for the domain and range in that. This isn't an example that you necessarily need to write down, but it might help. Okay. For the problems in this target, it's similar in that you need to find a realistic domain for each problem that's presented. So let's start with determine a domain given the constraints. So the function f of h represents the number of hours required to make sandwiches at Subways. So what's the domain of this situation? Okay, what domain makes sense? Domain would be number of hours. Range would be number of sandwiches. Okay, because your domain is the number of hours that you can make sandwiches, and depending on what that is will determine the number of sandwiches that you can make. So we'd say H has to be greater than or equal to 0. That's the domain. You have to, in order to make sandwiches, you have to work more than 0 hours, but you could make 0 and have 0 sandwiches. It's kind of confusing, I understand. But just think about what makes sense. All you're doing is saying H is going to be greater than or equal to what, and in some cases, less than or equal to. They don't put any constraints in this problem in that you only have a certain amount of time. So you just say, it has to be greater than or equal to 0. Plain and simple. All right. This one's a little bit different. Aliens land on U.S. soil, an estimated total of 313 million people in the United States. They are debating how many people to destroy. So we want to figure out the domain of people, which we're going to call P, that they can remove from the world or destroy, whatever you want to say. So they could be nice aliens, and they could decide that they're not going to remove anyone. Or they could be incredibly aggressive and say, you know what, they're going to wipe out the planet. In this case, what would the domain be? Hopefully, you realize that there is a high-end constraint. So if they give you a number, chances are that's either a minimum or a maximum. If you go back real quick to the last problem, it didn't give you any kind of numbers. It didn't say what, you had to work a minimum or a maximum number of hours making sandwiches. In this one, they give you a number, this 313 million. So, like I said, they can either remove no one or they can remove everyone. So we say 0 is less than or P is greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 313 million. Okay, no one would be 0. Everyone would be the 313 million. Pretty straightforward. All right, so the second part, determine the domain not given the constraints. So this time you're not going to be told what the constraints are. So your cell phone charges you 15 cents for each text message you send. Your parents put a cap of $60 on your texting bill every month. So if C of T, okay, the cost of a text, equals 0.15 T. So basically what this means, what that breaks down to, just so you know, C of T, cost of text, total cost, okay, equals, total bill I should say, equals 15 cents per text. That's what that breaks down to. All right. Let me get rid of that real quick though. So we've got this. Now your parents put a cap of $60 on your texting bill. So if this represents total cost, okay, total cost of bill, like it says, and T is the number of texts sent, well, you know that the cap is $60. You can't spend any more than that. So the number of texts, there's going to be a set number, equals 0.15 T. And then you just solve this like you normally would. So divide both sides by 0.15, and you get T equals 400. So T can be greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to 400. So you can send no text or you can send up to 400 texts. That would be the domain. All right, last problem. Cost 10 cents for each page run through the copier. Consequently, teachers in Morton West are given a $500 limit. So if C of P, or the total cost, equals 10 cents per 10.10 P, or 10 cents per page, okay, if that's the cost of the total number of pages copied, P, what is the domain? So again, this is your total cost. P is the number of pages copied. You know that the most we can spend is 500. Okay, so given this, solve for P. Divide both sides by 0.10. You get 5,000, so P equals 5,000, which is your maximum. So teachers can either copy nothing, so P would be greater than or equal to 0, or less than or equal to 5,000. So I know that this is maybe a little confusing. That's why it's kind of good that it's in the beginning so you can get some extra practice with it. But that's it for the week. Just this in the video from yesterday. It'll be what your quiz is on Friday. Have a good one and enjoy your week.